Well, I thought I'd give you a brief update, a little something to sink your teeth into as the night is just starting for me. I got the late show tonight. I don't start until 9:18, which is probably closer to 10 if you know Northfield Park. I got 3 horses to warm up, but only 2 drives. It's a bit of a riddle. Emerald Tom and Jolene Hall are in together tonight, so I am going to warm both of them just to make sure the hobbles are good on Emerald Tom and to make sure that Jolene's good also. And I want to go last trip with JK Megan. Now I'm driving down the road. I go to Starbucks, a little drink, just a little one, and then went to get off the exit. It's closed. I don't know how to go anywhere other than that exit. I don't know. And maps. If you've ever done that where they've closed a road and then you put it into maps, it just keeps telling you to go back to that road, and I don't know how to change it. I think I got it figured out. I just drove until it stopped telling me to go that way. So I'm on my way to Northfield. I'm going to make it there in plenty of time. This morning, I get up this morning, told you guys I was going to run Aunt Lily today. I wanted to get a good look at her today, and I wanted to run her hard. You know, she was feeling better now, eating better now. Going to run her real hard, and then probably Wednesday, take her blood again. Just in case there's any sort of anomalies, we can work on that over the next 4 or 5 days into her next race. So I like the way that Delaware is starting. It hasn't started yet officially, but our Delaware week is starting. Some of that will come to fruition again tonight with the races of Jolene Hall and Emerald Tom. So, Aunt Lily trained well. You know, I watched the race of Rico Tubbs. He just looked flat. Ronnie said, I might be a little tired. I said, guys, pump your brakes. There's no way this horse is tired. He said a pretty light schedule as far as the 2-year-olds go. I don't think he's tired, but we'll find out because he's likely going to race in the standardbred. In fact, I would wager good money if we drew his blood, there was something found in there. You got to understand, you hear me harp on about this, and you're like, holy Jesus, Anthony, is there something wrong with the barn? There's always something with the horse's blood. Because there is always something with the horse's blood. When you see a horse at 92% that needed to be at 102% to race really well today, well, you see the difference. It's glaring. It's right in front of you. It's the difference between first or second and sixth. And that's what you saw today. And a number of things can cause that. Remember, we shipped to Poconos. All his best racing was done right at home at the Meadows. So did he tie up a bit? Was he a bit dehydrated? And I don't want to get into the other little letters that bother us so much this summer. You have to understand too, this is the time of year, one of my favorite times of year, but it's chilly at night. And today it was hot in the afternoon, and probably even hotter in the Poconos. Did that play a role? Because this isn't the first night that's happened. Chilly nights, warmer mornings can make for problems also. So I'm not trying to make any excuses, but that was not Rico Tubbs, that race today. That was a little bit of a watered down version of Rico Tubbs. And as I said, when you need to be at 102% to really shine and you're at 92%, well, that's how you look. He didn't look lame to me. He didn't look sore. I think Tim had him in good working order. He just maybe didn't have the depth that he needed today, and we'll figure that out over the next couple of days. But you will see him surface at the Standardbred in Delaware this week. A lot of clients asking, do we have any horses racing? We have a lot of horses racing in Delaware next week. Cherry's Girl is going to race in the Standardbred. Rico Tubbs is going to race in the Standardbred. All our 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds are going to have stake races next week also. So it should be a great time for everybody in Delaware next week. Now, I guess it's subjective to how we do, but assuming we do pretty good, everybody's going to have a great time in Delaware next week. And I was awful chipper watching Lexington. You know, you guys have no idea. Dega is one of those horses. She's just an absolute sweetheart to drive. She does nothing wrong. You know, you can let her step out of there a bit. She'll just sit right on your lap if you want to cheat and get a little bit of an easy quarter. You know, Dexter just wanted to survey the race and make them do a little work. You know, oddly enough, I know you're not going to believe this, but Dexter Dunn drove her perfect. All those guys at that top level of driving, I'm sure it's like watching a guitar player watching, you know, a top guitar player at a rock band play. You want to believe you can do that, but watching somebody do it effortlessly, it must just be amazing in every sport. You know, we always talk about meat and potatoes horses. I always fancy myself a meat and potatoes driver, right? Every so often I can step up and do real good. There's another side to that coin too. And all you can do is go out and do the best you can. And Dega puts in an honest to goodness effort every time she goes on the track, and that's part of her shine, is what she brings to the table. Just such a very, very nice filly to drive, and Dexter did a great job with her today. She looked very, very good in winning in 56-3 today. A great prep for whatever we want. She's got Corbett. It's not for 4 or 5 weeks. So we're going to do whatever we want with Dega. Honestly, I thought she'd be second or third today, and then we'd race her again in another 2 weeks or so. So we'll see what's on the docket for her. But man, although she hasn't put up gigantic numbers, because she's in one of the toughest places to race, she certainly knows how to put it all together when she needs to. And although that wasn't the Breeders' Crown or a major stake race today, it certainly was a win, which is hard to come by in Kentucky. Everybody's trying to, and she looked very, very good doing it. So congratulations to Eric, and I know Kathy. I didn't see her in the winner's circle, so she must still be out of operation a little bit. I know I've been a little distant, worrying about everything else that goes on in the burn, but they're certainly doing great work down in Kentucky, and the horse looked great today. Now, JK Victory and Greatest Ending are on the docket soon. We have a number of 2-year-olds coming back in. I think, looking at the stall situation, the babies we already have, we're going to talk about that in a minute also, that are coming in. Then you factor in Ohio. 2 weeks after that, Lexington. That burn is going to explode real quick with horses. So we're going to start moving some of the 2-year-olds over to Ontario to start to jog back lightly and train back, namely the D.O. Colt that's out of Carla's, you know who I'm talking about, the Walner Colt, and a number of the other 2-year-olds. We're going to start sending them over to Dominic and Harry, and as I get a couple, 3, 4 over to Harry, I'm going to start bringing back Greatest Ending and JK Victor. You heard me tease the idea of moving them today. We did sell horses today also. We'll talk about that in a second. But these types of horses will fit right in the same kind of mold. Certainly not what we paid for them. JK Victory had a good run for us for a while, so that's not going to sting. But the Greatest Ending, the entire file hurts from top to bottom. And I like the horse. He's a likable animal, and I think what we need to do is get him in a spot where he can run up the classes a bit, get to where we don't want to watch him come back down, and then have somebody else jump in and grab him. I think would be the most beneficial way to look at that. I believe those 2 horses are on tap tonight. Blue Rare, 2-year-old grassroots filly. She's coming in sharp, 4-1 morning line. I think she's good. I think we're going to finish off the night with a bang. JK Maga trained awesome this week, and Jolene Hall coming back from Kentucky, where she was simply racing against better horses than these horses have seen. Emerald Thomas seen the gold division and the grassroots division, so I shouldn't say that completely. Jolene Hall's seen a little bit more consistent speed, and the break the other day was easily described. You can see it plain as day. She just hit her knee and made a break. We're going to try a pair of knee boots on her tonight. I only hate that because I feel with her gait, she's one of those horses that'll hit and stick, and it'll screw up her gait. But we'll see if we can't remedy that a little bit tonight. That's what's on tap tonight. The sale today, we sold all but Gaslight Hall. I just thought he was worth just a hair more. Maybe I was wrong. In hindsight, maybe I should have just taken the 28 that was on the table. I didn't. I just felt with, he's had a long year. There's a little wear and tear. We're going to give him a week off, do some vet work on him tomorrow, really grease him up good, make him feel good, spend the week, getting a little bit. He's one of those horses that is always not skinny, but it doesn't take a whole lot for him to get skinny. And I just feel he's trending in that kind of worn down look to him, and I just want to rejuvenate him a little bit, give him a week off, go easy with him, put him back into go, and if he throws up a couple of more wins before October, well, great. At that point, maybe somebody else wants him for that super final that he does fit. I'll be the first to admit, can he do in the super final? No. But there's a couple other horses that are worn down this year in the super final also. We bring him in with 3 wins in a row, or 2 wins in 2 or 3 really good races, and bring him back over to Ontario feeling good and looking fit. Who knows? Maybe he does grab a bone in there. I don't know. But I can tell you one thing. There'll be a lot of horses in Ontario that'll be happy to race in that division for 300 that are not going to get an opportunity to, and he will. So I guess that's my plan. If you had asked me point blank a little while ago, hey, even 20 minutes after the sale, do you regret not taking that 20? Yeah, maybe I did. I don't know. But this was after I already knew that Patrick was going to sell, because he'd already gone beyond our threshold, and the other 4 horses did sell. So I'm not overly worried about it. I was really, really happy with the way the day went. we had 3 2-year-olds that were just kind of lost in limbo. Maybe they'll be decent Buckeye horses. I have no idea. But for right now, they were just horses, right? They were just eating and drinking and jogging. They weren't factors in the races, and I just thought it made more sense to move them on. We did. Riding the Rodeo went for, I think, 10.5. He's a Fearless Peter 10, and Steph's Hope went for 9,500. I was a little surprised that 14 was what we got for the other filly, coming off a couple of very bad lines. But, as I said, I posted her blood work there. People could see that her liver was clearly an issue. And if they put her all together and find some easier racing for her, then so be it. I think Resolve Indeed could be a decent filly in a jurisdiction otherwise. Patrick de Piranha told everybody the other day, 28 to 32 was kind of what we were going to get. I had a couple people message me that said, no, 25 to 27 is what I think you'll get for that horse. He's old enough now. All you have to do is simply look at him and say, all right, if there was a claimer for him right now, what would it be? He'd struggle, I think, in the 30 claimer in Scioto. This horse had done a world of good for us. I just told you guys I'm going to get away from that. And I hate saying it because there's got to be a better way to say it, that ladder racing. I just hate it. It's just useless. We get 2 more that are in the barn that I'll be looking at very closely also over the next 2 weeks. But for right now, Patrick de Piranha is headed to Maine, I believe, making his way back to Plainridge Racecourse, if I'm not mistaken. And I wish the owners all the luck in the world, because he is a beautiful horse and has done nothing but good for the stable.ca since we bought him. So good luck to all the new connections with Patrick de Piranha. Now, I didn't just sell today, I did buy today. Now, I bought a horse last week at Harrisburg, where not now because we have a lot of broodmares, but before I had bought State Park S, and Steve and Jacob Schaefer had bought a sister to Muscle Massive, in foal to a European bred stallion by the name of it'll come to me in a second. And that horse was born. I didn't think much about it. Calgary Games, that's who it is. Calgary Games, a very good sire in Europe, and a couple of them racing here and doing very, very well. So there was some European mix in the mare. They wanted the mare to breed back and weren't that interested in a Kentucky-only staked colt. And I had mentioned it in passing, hey, if that colt comes out good and looks good, we'd be interested in that horse. Now, Jacob and Steve had messaged me about a month ago. What about that colt? I forgot all about it. I said, yeah, but we got a lot going on right now at the barn, and I don't know what you guys want for the horse, but I don't know if we'll be able to muster top dollar for you. And they come back with a fair price of $16,000, which, to be honest, when you think of the time they put in getting the colt ready, I guess he's not really sale prepped. He looks shiny. Sent some pictures to you guys. But getting the colt ready to go out, paying bills on him from the time he was born to now, not a lot of fat in the bone there, right? Not a lot of meat there. So I appreciate the fair price of the horse, and I was happy to. Spoke to John briefly about it and said, listen, obviously the family speaks for itself. That's a little loud. I said, obviously, the family speaks for itself. These are the types of horses we've always wanted and we always look for at the sales. I don't see how it's a bad idea. He said, absolutely. I like the pedigree too. Makes sense. Let's go ahead and buy them. That's exactly what we did. Now today, there was a number of yearlings up for sale also. I love International Monies. You guys know that. They are the poor man's breed right now in North America, or one of them, and it's pretty hard to convince me otherwise. They've done us an enormous amount of good over the last 3-4 years, and there was a few of them up for sale. Hey, no, we have a couple to bring in also, right? We have a Galarium's baby to bring in. We have another one, I believe. I was going to say Isaac 10, but she's enfolded to International Money. I think we have another one to bring in. I might be wrong, though. I don't know. There was a couple of really nice ones. The one that caught my eye, very good family, very, very good family in Dame, Hanover. Now, in International Money, I think it was 10th or 11th foal. But the video itself, beautiful filly. Looked good, trotted good, seemed good. Again, I called John. I said, I like 2 horses in the sale. I think the international money should be around 13, 14, maybe 15. The other horse I actually did like was a Captain Crunch. And the only one we bought at public auction was Time Is On My Side. The other one is JK Mega. The only two Captain Crunches we've ever had. I like the filly. I actually saw her when I was at Spring Station. Really good looking filly. Now that I say it, I think it's a filly. I think it's a filly. I want to make sure. Right? It's just going to bug me if I don't. It's going to bug the hell out of me if I don't. That was Dame Hanover Bullet Station. It was a filly, yeah. It was a filly. And I see Wyatt Avenatti got the horse, so good luck with the filly, Wyatt. I really liked her when I saw her at the barn. And I like the pedigree too, really strong. But, you know, we're going to lean trotter anyway, so we didn't get the Captain Crunch. That was fine. We were the underbidders on the filly. But we were the leading bidders on Dame Hanover. Just really, really pleased with this filly top to bottom. As I said, international money filly. I just wanted to talk about her pedigree real quick. Dornello, I remember Trevor Ritchie driving Dornello, geez, 10, 15 years ago for sure, in Ontario. She was a very good mare, made $253,000. Her foal Lauderdale made $451,000. Dominus Hanover made $241,000. Templeton made $118,000, and so on and so on and so on. Just a very, very good family. Now, as far as world champions, Lauderdale was not a world champion, but he did very, very good. And when you look at the mare, you look at this horse's siblings, how well they've done on the track, it just seemed to me that it was a slam dunk. And then if you really want to go back, this is a long time ago, the second dam is Me Maggie. Now, you know, funny story, when I was young, I had bad knees just from playing sports and stuff. And I remember I had my knees operated on. And the year that Me Maggie was in the Breeders' Crown, I was in the hospital just after getting my knees operated on. And I remember watching the Breeders' Crown. I don't know how they got it done at the hospital, but they got it on the TV for me. I was just a kid, maybe teenager, certainly a teenager, 15, 16 years old, watching the Breeders' Crown. And I know that Me Maggie was in there, if I'm not mistaken. The favorite, and this is so long ago, the favorite was Spreadsheet, I believe. And it made a break with Bill O'Donnell. I know that Bill O'Donnell had the favorite and made a break, and Me Maggie may have even made a break at the wire, but that was a deep, deep bunch of horses. Me Maggie was a world champion and made $743,000. Her foal Dornello made $253,000 and was a Canadian champion, won multiple stake races. Very, very deep pedigrees and resumes for both mares and families. And to buy this filly, I just thought at $13,000, I thought the timing was right. It was a buyer's time with the Ohio sale coming up for everybody on, in the Ohio direction. And then for Lexington shortly thereafter. It just seemed like the right time to at least watch the sale and be ready. And I certainly was. I just thought Dame Hanover, just the stature of the filly, her breeding, and the fact that I love international monies made it very, very easy to buy these horses. We have put all the shares up for you. All of them. And I apologize. I just said, you know what? I got too much on my plate to worry about this. Put them all up. And if you're in Europe and you're waking up and there's no shares left, I truly apologize. I think you'll be okay. You know, it kind of sprung it on everybody. Nobody really knew what was going on. So all those shares will go up as we start to get closer to Ohio and Lexington and start to build up our team for 2026. So I'm about 5 minutes out. I'm going to go and warm up our boy JK Mega last trip. Then I'm going to go last trip with Emerald Tom. Then I'm going to go last trip with Jolene Hall. I just want to make sure everybody is ready to rock today. So pleased with, so pleased with Dega today and the job that Eric and Kathy have done with this filly. I know I've driven her a number of times, and she is just a little race car. And just the type of horse you want to have. Listen, we'd all love to have, perfect thought, we'd all love to have Jailbird Jock. I get it, I would too. But having horses like Dega, the future is bright. Who knows what it will bring, but it will be bright. And just a sweetheart of a horse to drive from a driver's standpoint. So congratulations to all my partners with her and to Eric. Thank you, Dexter, for driving the filly. And we have lots more racing tonight. Maybe I'll give you a video on the way home, unless things don't go my way. Either way, I will talk to you all very soon. I hope you're having a great Monday, a great start to your week. Take care.